All right, fine, I'll give you some more. Come here, bud. You better catch it. Good boy. As you can see, we got Courage in the building, and what I wanted to do is go over Courage's story with you from the beginning to now, and kind of showcase how really special and wonderful his entire journey has been, and how wonderful all of you have been for sticking with us and for making this happen. And I wanted to just tell the story of how we get a fighting dog from about as driven and as terribly scared of everything on earth, with no tongue, no way to eat, no way to drink, from that to what we have today, which is a bona fide adoptable house dog who now lives in Long Beach, California, and loves when the Amazon delivery guy comes and drops off packages and gets along with just about everyone he meets. No longer has terribly reactive time with other dogs. This is the incredible, improbable, unreal story of Courage, the tongueless fighting dog. So several years ago, I got a call from some rescuers out in Cincinnati who had found this escaped dogfighting dog with scars over every square inch of his body, no tongue, no ears, and absolutely terrified and turned all the way on. They needed immediate help. They had no history of dealing with dogs with no tongues. They needed help from a dogfighting standpoint. They were just out of resources. So flew out there. I met this boy in a dark parking garage. The folks that had him, only one lady could handle him. The other gals were very scared of him, understandably so. They handed me the leash and we took our first walk. And I just remember thinking to myself, we have got our work cut out for us, because he was so triggered and he was so turned on at everything, every stimulus. I mean, this dog was petrified of everything. And rather than have the reaction to fear be to move away, he moved forward. So any stimulus that was a threat to him, he threatened back, right? So he would move forward. That's kind of like the dog fighting way. Whereas a lot of dogs that we deal with out here in society, when they're scared or intimidated, they will back away. They may growl or bark, but they're moving backwards. I was tasked with driving him from Wichita, Kansas, all the way to California. And that was going to be very interesting for a variety of reasons. One, he couldn't eat, so I had to feed him by hand, and we hadn't dialed that process in yet. And the other was he can't drink, and he didn't have an esophageal feeding tube, so I had to feed him via a lactated ringer. Big old high gauge needle through his shoulder blades, and I had to give him fluids, usually 3/4 of a ringer, every 8 hours. And you're coexisting with this dog in a car while you're driving, and he's stimulated by everything. So every honk, every sound, every car that drives by, every whatever, he is being stimulated by, which would lead him to jab at the window, which would lead him to react kind of nonsensically to a variety of different stimuli. I remember when we got to Colorado and we took a walk, I was trying to get his nose to work so that we could get him into more of a instinctual state as opposed to just a fight or flight state. He was in that completely pegged at fight or flight at all times, and I was really trying to work him out of that. So my friend Ashley and I took him for a walk, and I remember putting him back in the car and giving him fluids there in Colorado and thinking to myself, I think he's getting better. And then we took a hike out by Arches National Monument, and then I gave him another ringer full, and then I remember feeding him in the bathtub at the hotel. And then I had my shirt off because he'd gotten it real dirty, and he jumped up into bed, like jumped right at me into bed. It startled me at first, and then he just buried his face like in my side, and he flopped over on his back, and he just wanted me to pet his belly. And I thought, all right, baby, I've converted this dog. I'm starting to get through to him, you know? And from that moment on, we started to have this kinship, this really close bond, where he would make eye contact with me when he would get scared. So whereas before he would just go after something, he started to like check in with me and then look at the thing, check in with me. So we really started to have that bond quickly. And then, you know, we finally made our way out here to California to the rescue ranch. But that was just the beginning of our troubles and the beginning of his troubles. He became very partial to his people. So Dylan, myself, Danielle, we have the most incredible staff here, and it was the day in, day out rigorous work that our staff did over a period of years. Because what happened when he got here was his body started to fail. He developed acute colitis, malabsorption issues, so he was eating 6 times the caloric intake of what a normal dog is supposed to consume, but he was losing weight. So he got all the way down to 36 pounds which you can imagine a dog that's now 75 pounds being 36 pounds. And here we were thinking we were gonna lose him. We had every specialist from UC Davis to VCA West Los Angeles trying to help us, every type of probiotic, every type of everything we had for this boy, and we just weren't getting answers. The prednisone was making him more reactive, so we already got a highly turned up fighting dog who's now on steroids and even more turned up, so we just didn't know what to do. And we tried everything, and finally, after so much work, behaviorally, spiritually, physically, we did everything for this boy. He started to fall into a groove, his tummy started to heal, and he started to be able to eat normal food at normal amounts. And then we got him the Courage Cottage. He started to be able to work with other volunteers and just spend a lot of time around other dogs. He was able to work out his fears. I mean, it is a testimony of what all of us can do in life if we kiss the dragon on the nose and address our fears head on. And that's what he did. He really faced his fears to become just this incredible boy today who has been adopted like a normal dog. He's living in Long Beach with his incredible mama. He greets the Amazon delivery guy. He's got his own backyard. He's worked himself into the dog that he always wanted to be. And I'm so proud of him. And so we have launched this. This is Courage's plushie. And what we're encouraging folks to do is to purchase a Courage plushie and then write us about where you found your courage. Like what gave you your courage to face different things in life. And for me, the biggest moment of truth for me was getting sober, was pursuing sobriety, which then led me to pursue animal welfare and rescue. And I would say what gave me the courage to take that first step forward was my dogs. You know, in my weakest moment, all the time I would spend in between my own ears never got me anywhere but pain. It wasn't until I stepped out of myself and started doing stuff for other people and adding dogs to my pack, working to train those dogs, rehabilitate those dogs, that service started to help me feel in my purpose. And my dogs were really what facilitated that. So I found my courage through my doggies, who then led me to a God of my understanding, along with going to meetings, and that really made all the difference in the world and has led me to doggies like Courage. All right, lots of love, guys. Thank you for sticking with us all these years to find Courage the perfect outcome. This is just the best thing ever. Thanks, guys.